Bongington Prometheans, welcome to your Tuesday sermon. The equinox and solstice gatherings on Hackney Marshes, called We Don't Know What This Is, are a beautiful event, and you should go when you get the chance. The next one is at 6:03 this coming Thursday, the 20th of March. On Sunday morning just gone, David, one of the organisers, posed a question in their WhatsApp group. Playing on the event's name, he asked, "What do you think? Why are we coming together like this?" Responses were rightly full of glowing praise for the event, describing what it means to the people who attend. Answers revolved around ideas of connecting with the natural cycles of life, of calm and togetherness, and a sense of healing. A huge part of the magic of the event is that it takes place on Hackney Marshes, a large open space surrounded by the East London cityscape, a liminal place where two worlds press up against each other. In the discussions I had with David, Tom and Adrian last year, prior to Church of Burn making ritual at their event, I explained that I like the idea that it is the enactment of ritual sacrifice that causes the sun to rise. It's a pretty silly notion. I guess you could say it's hubris, deluded even, that us burning a few quid in ritual materially influences the celestial bodies. But humour me. Hold on to the thought for just a minute or three. It's impossible to get into the heads of our ancient ancestors. That's 300,000 years of history for Homo sapiens alone. Certainly, they had not thought about ritual sacrifice as a detached observer. It wouldn't have been an object of study like it is for most people today. Rather, because ritual sacrifice is a powerful thing to be part of, they'd believed that what they were doing was necessary. It kept the natural cycles of their worlds turning. Maybe for them, just as for me with our solstice money burning, it was their sacrifice of a goat, pig, or even a child that caused the sun to rise. Our ancestors' sacrifice was intimately, immediately, and materially connected to the world around them. For our ancestors, there was no nature, there was no separation. They were as one with Gaia. The notion of nature is a modern invention. Our ancestors didn't need Joni Mitchell to remind them that we're a cog in something turning. They knew we were stardust long before science came along to prove it. So then I reckon for a good 99% of humanity's history, making ritual sacrifice to keep the celestial clock turning, to make the sun rise, was just what we did. It is us moderns that are the anomaly. How are we to make sense of this? Do we just reject the beliefs of our ancestors? Do we just accept our current astronomical story as fact and reject everything else as fiction? Or is there an echo of some ancient truth resonating through sacrificial ritual? When you perform a ritual sacrifice, what is apparent is that the act comes first and the rationalization follows. As far as we know, this is historically true too. We've been engaging in ritual sacrifice since the start. It is the founding act of civilization. Over time, different stories have been told to make sense of the power of ritual and to direct it. New gods have been birthed, eclipsing the celestial order, eclipsing the sun, the moon, and the stars. For the last couple of millennia, the story that's enraptured a significant and especially powerful proportion of the human tribe is that there is just one God, and that his sacrifice, his death and rebirth of himself through the body of his only begotten Son, alleviated us of the need to participate in ritual sacrifice. Henceforth, communion, oneness with the divine, was to be enacted by consuming the body and blood of Christ. The turning of the celestial clock was strictly God's work. Our ritual sacrifices were no longer required. And so for 100 generations or so, the ancient truth once known to us, that ritual sacrifice creates our world, has gradually faded. The echo of it is now barely audible. In that time, humankind has detached itself from the world to such an extent that we have become witnesses to its destruction, at our own hands, and seemingly without being able to stop ourselves. In other words, against all reason, we are sacrificing that which is most precious to life on our beautiful planet. Not for the sun, but for the gods of economic growth, for the gods of capital, and for the god of money. So then, when we burned 105 pounds at dawn on the summer solstice and the sun rose, we were at the very least engaged in a celestial reordering. We burned our God to honor a greater one. And unless humanity does this en masse, unless we reject our secular stand-ins for the originating sun god, unless we find a new story to allow our ancient wisdom to be heard once more, humanity will not live to see the sunrise. If the tragic logics of the meta-crisis play out in the way most scientists expect them to, it is the generations born within our lifetimes who will be witness to that final sacrifice, the burning of the world itself. And in that last dawn, the story of the sunrise will no longer matter, because there will be no one left to tell it. Burn, shine, love.